fact, let me share this. I'm going to make sure that you can actually edit so that if you want to write in a question while I'm going through this, you can over here on the right-hand side in the Q&A. So give me 1 second. I'm going to put this in. So to everybody. All right. There you go. So you should have that link in chat. You can go ahead and check that out. And hello, Tatiana. It looks like it's just me and you today for this particular one, and then the folks that are watching here on YouTube. So I will get right into it. What this is a very, very brief informational webinar on the Global Virtual Design Sprint and what it's all about. What I'll be going through is pretty much what you're seeing here on the mural, but I'll be going through it in sections. This is basically to inform those that are thinking about joining or want to know more about it. Maybe they heard me or heard it from someone else, or it was posted on social media. Whatever the case may be, this is the most updated version of what's going on with the GVDS. So let me go ahead and I'm going to go into full screen here. So this is kind of out of the way. So we're just looking at this. And Tatiana, if you can hear me and see everything, then go ahead and give me a thumbs up or a hello in chat, and I'll know that we're all set to go on the Zoom side. For those of you on YouTube, if you have any questions, go ahead and post those into the mix as well, and we'll get started. So the Global Virtual Design Sprint is something I've been doing for about, now it's 3 years. I keep thinking it's 2020, but it is 2021. And the original concept was that for those people that were doing design sprints or going through the process, or maybe even had a master class, the idea was to give them a way to practice this, but also to elevate their professionally. So one of the core things that goes into the GVDS is to showcase people at their best professional versions of themselves on an international stage. So that's one of the missions of the GVDS. Now, in terms of who it's for, these are usually the groups that come to the event more often than not. The first three I see all the time. They're traditional to a design sprint process. They're the facilitators that guide everyone on the team toward a particular conclusion around their challenge or big idea. There are designers, usually are joining not only to showcase what they can do, but to add more samples to their portfolio, maybe have something where they can where their teammates can recommend them on LinkedIn, whatever their motivations may be. We find that there's a good group of designers that usually join this process or join this event. And then also researchers. And there is plenty for researchers to do and explore. Normally the teams that have researchers that are very in-depth and know their craft usually do very well in this event. And then lately, as we've been kind of getting into innovation and doing micro experiments and checking things out, we've been seeing more entrepreneurs, full-time students, and developers kind of coming into the mix, so that the teams that form in May when we do the event usually have a wide variety of different disciplines and professionals coming to the team. Now, in terms of participating in the GVDS, these are the benefits that are traditional to this event. You'll get exposure to a number of professionals that work internationally in different ways. So there could be project managers, designers, developers, coaches, advisors, people who are senior in their craft. It's so diverse that it goes across the board. And usually that's a challenge for me when I organize the teams, but that's something that's definitely there. And along with that, I'll point you down to this fifth one down here, where it says an unbelievable amount of networking opportunities, which is true. Normally, by the time we get done with registering everybody and we're set to go for our May event, there's anywhere from 60 to 150 people that are involved with a Global Virtual Design Sprint event every single time. So you'll be able to not only network with people that you meet on your team, but also people that are part of your own discipline. And what makes the Global Virtual Design Sprint unique is that it's not a informational theater kind of event where you sign up, you pay a fee, and you get exposure to a lot of leaders in the industry, and they tell you what they know and what they think is coming in the future, or to inform you about new ways of doing things. There are plenty of events like that out there. How this differentiates from that is this is a learn by doing approach. So literally, you're going to be going through the motions to learn the process of doing design sprints, virtual design sprints, and now prototyping, so that this is going to be something that you can take away and use for your own purposes, whatever those may be. Oh, let's go back up here. So What's new for this particular one, since this is going to be the sixth one that we've done five before. I've just updated this morning, and there's some new things that are coming up for GVDS 6. The one I want to point your attention to is going to be a walkthrough learning series that I'm working on. In fact, I worked on it all weekend long. This is going to be a multi-lesson seminar that I'm going to be hosting in Podia, and this is going to cover three particular things. One is just a basic understanding of design sprints in a common language format. So I'm not going to be using a lot of nomenclature inherent to the process, so it's easier to understand. What we do in the GVDS in virtual design sprinting, so you can use that and take away for your own purposes. And then finally, we're going to be getting into prototyping and how we use design thinking and prototyping in particular to do something called the dash, or to do micro experiments in the market. All of this will be hosted on Podia. It'll be something that you can use after the event is done. So the learning components that we've done in previous events are going to be central to what the GVDS 6 is. It's going to be not only learning about it if you're brand new to it, but also being able to take away from it some experience where you can apply it for your own purposes. We're also showcasing something new called the Feature Facilitator Series. So we've had a number of facilitators that are part of this event go through it several times, like 2 or 3 times, sometimes 4. And they're really good not only at what they do in terms of guiding a team along on their challenge or big idea, but they also have a unique way of facilitating their team. And they have a particular approach that's inherent to either their business or to how they go about doing things. Everyone has a different leadership style in that regard. So we're going to embrace that with this new event and give these facilitators the chance to not only showcase some curated custom process they've been working on, but also some big ideas, innovative challenges, and perhaps just basically being there to show what they do and who they are so that participants can choose these facilitators if they want to be part of their experience for the May event. That way you get direct learning from some of the best that I know of in virtual design sprint land, and you'll come away with some valuable insight and perspective that only these particular individuals can give you. Finally, what I'll point out is that we're going to be doing challenges from real people. And what that means is we're going to be doing a combination of open innovation challenges from organizations like Open IDEO and Habitat for Humanity. There's also a few that we've discovered from the US government that are, I think it's challenge.gov is the website. But whatever they're coming from, whether they're going to be from participants or from organizations, there's going to be an open call for challenges probably in about a week's time. That'll last for a month. So even if you are part of the event or you're not part of the event, you'll be able to submit something that you think is going to be either of the social good that benefits small business, something where you see it kind of evolve into a next step after the event is done. We're going to leave that available for participants to submit their stuff, as well as giving them a chance to sign up for open innovation challenges that we're aware of. If you want to know what the event is like, usually it lasts all month. Now, I'll caveat this by saying you aren't needing to reserve all of your time for 4 weeks. This event is curated and customized so that really week 3 is probably the one time you're going to be spending the most hours on your particular group with your challenge. The first and second week is really up to your availability. So usually, and I'll get into this in another panel, but typically weeks 1, 2, and 4 are lightweight, whereas 3 tends to be heavier. But this kind of outlines what most teams usually go through and what they're part of in terms of their engagement. So again, we go straight and look at that. I was forecasting what was going to happen. It's approximately 40-45 hours for the entire month. And that is both online and offline work. So the GVDS encourages asynchronous work between individuals. It doesn't necessarily require you to be online for 6 hours a day, because that doesn't make any sense, especially if you have other commitments like your full-time job or your family or other obligations that you put in. This event is designed to be accommodating for your particular situation. I will say that again, week 3 is probably the one where the entire team focuses on everything they've been preparing for in the previous weeks. But again, you'll probably have to figure out in your particular schedule when those hours make sense for you. And when you sign up for the GVDS, we ask you, okay, what do you forecast your availability being in a 24-hour scale, Monday through Friday? And that way, no matter which time zone you're in, whether you're in Amsterdam or Antarctica or South America or Alaska or Denver, we pretty much have your availability, and we can use our tools to figure out where it makes sense to kind of pair you up with other people. Then finally, in terms of cost, originally this event was free a long time ago, but my wife started referring to this as an expensive habit. So I needed to be able to justify doing this from time to time. And we started charging in four, and this is cascaded into what we do today. So there, as you can see here, there are different tiers depending on if you've been part of the GVDS in the past, if you are a referral from someone else, or if you're coming in from last year. We we basically reward people for coming to this and the amount of time they spend into it. So it's not a flat fee every single time. We do have early bird pricing that's available to the end of the month. We also have for discounted rates for partner events. So if we partner with some company and that we're doing something where we're doing dual promotions, that's usually where it comes into the mix. And only after February 25th, if you don't know of anyone, you're not a student and not a referral, then it's the full fee as you see here. The one thing I do want to point out is that starting last year, we had a number of people that were going through financial hardships because of the pandemic. And what we do for folks is we basically set up a promise to pay. So if you can't pay now, you can still be part of the event, and you can pay for it before we start up GVDS 7 in September. So that if you still want the experience, you still want to be part of it, you have the ability to do so. So this isn't about a money-making event. This is more like how we can accommodate different people and their circumstances for what we're going to do. By the way, I just noticed, I think this border's a little off. I'm gonna go around here and just kind of adjust it like this. So I do some real-time editing. Okay, let me zoom out a little bit and go up here. This is the current roster, which is pretty normal right around now. In fact, it's a little bit more than I expected. Usually around the time that we start closing early bird pricing, this is gonna either double or triple. Chances are, as we go closer to the event, there's gonna be more interest in getting the challenges together. But this is currently what's there. If you were given the link in Zoom, sorry, yeah, if you're given the link in Zoom, you can double click on any of these individuals to see what their backgrounds are like. And like I mentioned before, we have a wide variety of people that come to the event. So it's not just the tier 3. I'm going to highlight a couple of people that I know of. There's Alexander Buck, who's all about growth hacking and facilitation. There is Benjamin, who's part of the Mural Consultant Network. We have a consultant and business designer in Jared Lowry. Finn Collerup is also somebody that is a professional consultant. We also have an assistant professor here. So again, you can browse these at your leisure if you've been given a link in Zoom, and you can connect with any of these individuals if you want. We also have that extends from the GVDS a community of practice, which is free to join. So you don't necessarily need to be part of a previous event to be part of the community of practice. But if you'd like to learn more about that, I'll put the link in in the notes later on, or at least I think the link is already here down and learn more about the GVDS. But I'll make sure it's part of the YouTube recording. This is just, again, an example or just a sampling of all the people that have been part of this in the past, that have contributed and are part of the ongoing conversation about what this means to be doing virtual work and virtual process. And I like it because I learn a lot from the different perspectives that people hear. And it's also a way for me to learn from other people what they think, what they're currently doing, and catching up with them. And then finally, there's learn more about the GVDS. So all the links are pretty much here. If you want to know what kind of templates we use, down here in the examples section as well, point your kind of attention to. All of these are clickable. All of these go into some of the things we did in GVDS 5. These will be kind of recast and redesigned for 6, but it'll give you an idea of how we set up our mural templates for teams to work on. There are some variations of these templates where there are 2 template systems, one where it's fairly clean, we just copy over what we do. And again, it really just depends on the team itself. I will open up one really fast just to give you an idea of what they look like. The first kind of engagement on the team level is the team canvas. And this was originally, the concept of the team canvas was done by someone else, but this has been redesigned by Sandy Lamb. And what we do is we keep teams to about 5 to 7 people. They pick their own avatars. They tell us where they're from, what their superpower is, where they want to go on vacation when the pandemic's all done. But then we go through a process where we figure out from each team their personal goals, values, needs, strengths, basically things that typify who they are as professionals and what commonalities they have. And then we center on purpose. Why is everyone getting together for the event? And why are they here today? And we use this information as a way to kind of bring the teams together in week one to make sure that everyone's on the same page. It's pretty clear what people want to get out of the event. And it helps me as an organizer figure out how I should basically steer and manage the event going forward from that first week onwards. And again, these are all samples of those types of templates there. If you want to learn more about signing up, there's this, even though that date is wrong, I have to change that. It's not April, it's May. And also some of the other properties that are corresponding to the GVDS. There's articles that correspond to what people think of the GVDS, as well as what we did for Mural with a webinar. There's testimonials if you want to check those out, as well as some other things related to the GVDS community and practice on Slack that I mentioned before. And finally, we have some things that are corresponding to the showcase. So the one thing I didn't mention is at the end of the month, we have this event called the Gvds Showcase. This allows the teams to basically present their work and what they've done to the intended audiences that they want to give them to. So if we're talking about Easy Teach AR, which is what this team headed by Lisa Weinsberger, what they did as a team and how they came together to curate this particular idea, this is something that shows their work and how they went about it. Usually for anything that's done, the GVDS, there's a point of contact. So if there's businesses or organizations or even individuals that want to check out these ideas after they've happened, then I just steer them towards those individuals. But the showcases have about 20, I think it's about a little over 20 presentations to date on the work that's been done in the past. Everyone from like food waste to remote and blended education. It's pretty much all there if you check out the YouTube channel, and you can check those out and see what other people have done and how they've gone about their work. And that is pretty much it. If you have any Q&A, if you're a part of the Zoom or if you have the link, you can go ahead and put a note over here and say that's supposed to put your question here. You can see the other ones that were answered in previous sessions that we've had since December, such as where, when, and how do we submit challenges? And I mentioned that they're going to be done in February. Someone was wondering if this is a course where the learning aspect of it is certified, and this is not a masterclass course in that regard. This is more of an opportunity to work with other people. The Podia learning modules that I'm creating are to supplement that experience, but no, I personally don't believe in certifications. There are very few that I actually recognize as being relevant, especially when it comes to design sprints. So I tend to not steer away from those and go after the actual experience and applied application of the craft as evidence to how good someone is or what they do. And there was also a question about Miro or Mural, and we both support both platforms. Since I am a partner of Mural, I tend to put all my templates in there. But there are practitioners that tend to want to put things in Miro because they're more familiar with them, and that's totally fine if that's what they want to do. So that's it for the presentation. If you have any Q&A, please put those in the chat in Zoom, and then I'll replicate them in the Q&A if you don't want to do it in the Mural. I will briefly stop my screen sharing just to check out and see if there's any questions on YouTube. So I'm going to get out of full screen here. I'm going to pause really fast. Let's see if there's anything going on in the chats. Let's see. Okay, Tatiana says that she's all set. I'll head over live streaming real fast. And we got a ton of people that are watching, but there's no questions that are going on. Okay. Wow, you're making it easy for me at the very beginning of the week. So again, if you have any questions about this, you can find me on LinkedIn. Just look up Robert Scrobe. You can also check out virtualdesignsprint.com, and that should lead you to what you need to know. And again, I don't have my video on, not because I'm a floating head, but my son is doing virtual learning in the other room, and he tends to shout a bit. So I don't want to have that kind of come over the speaker. So thank you very much for attending this and finding out more about it. I hope to hear from you later on. Thank you very much, Tatiana, for checking this out. It was good to see you. Yeah, trust me, it's nothing to look at anyway, even if my video wasn't on. You were spared all of that, so we're good. Okay, and then if again, reach out if you have any questions. But I hope you have a really good week, and hopefully we'll talk to you later. Okay, take care. Adios. See you later. All right. Bye bye.